This is from MD Wolverine. He says, what percentage of plays will Corum and Edwards be on the field at the same time? Think with Donovan Edwards' skill set, he can line up in the slot and both in the backfield and can be very dangerous. Tough to put a percentage on that, but what do you guys think?
Again, and speaking to Sharon Moore, he said they understand completely that those guys have got to get their touches and they got to get Donovan his touches, even if he's on the field at the same time with Blake Corum. It would be malpractice, right? If you've got a talent like that. He flat out called him, he said, one of the best athletes in the country, if not the best athlete in the country. And he said, so to me, they are scheming ways to get these guys the ball, going to be on the field together at the same time. Asked him that question in the spring too, and he said, I'm not going to give away our secrets, but when Mike Hart says that this kid could be one of the best slot receivers in the country, then you know what, by all means, I understand that there are receivers on this team, but when you've got somebody that can catch the ball like that and who's so dangerous with the ball in his hands, you get him the ball, unless he holds it like that, like Alty Taylor.
He does that Lion. Too.
He does that. Yeah, my dad would say Alty Taylor from the Detroit Lions. I don't remember seeing Alty Taylor play, but it must have been in the 50s or 60s. So regardless, he is an elite talent, another great kid. You're going to see them both. I think you're going to see a lot more of it. Let's put it that way. I'd be stunned, frankly, if you didn't.
What's your percent, though?
I don't do percentages, Clay, as you know. So
just fractions and stuff.
I do fractions. Exactly. Yeah, it's impossible to know. What was the percentage last year?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, double it and add 9.
Well, yeah, I don't know I don't think we know. I don't think anyone knows. But if I were to guess, and last year isn't necessarily a great indication because, Donovan was hurt early in the year. Then Donovan gets hurt late in the year. Then Blake gets hurt late in the year. Then Donovan plays with one arm. So, they weren't able to really use them together as much due to the health of those two guys last season. Probably, they wanted to work that in more. I thought the Iowa game was probably the best example of them two kind of having their roles at full health. And we saw them both have, massive impact in that big road win. So I'm going to say they're going to be on the field together at the same time, about 25% of snaps, which part of me thinks that's a little high. Part of me thinks that's a little low. But I'm going to see that. And I think Donovan Edwards will have a bigger role than he did last season as well. And you'll see, Blake will come out, Donovan will come on, to say that it's going to be 75% of snaps or something like that, I think would be, pretty high. So I'm going to go with something like 25-30%.
It's hard for me to put a percentage on it. I mean, just to be different, I guess I'll say 20%. I think when you just look at both guys from a touches perspective, I don't think there's any reason you can't combine them for 30, 35 per game between rushes and receptions and things like that. And people forget this too. I mean, Blake Corum's not a slouch as a receiver out of the backfield either. He hasn't done it a ton, and he's kind of turned into more of your bell cow and your short yardage type of guy when he's healthy. But, he has the ability to do that too. So whatever combination can get those guys, the touches they need to make their biggest impact. I don't know. It's just tough to put a percentage on it because game flow changes game to game. Game plans are different. So we'll see, but I do expect that to happen. I would go as far as to say it would be egregious if it didn't happen because those are, two of your best, maybe your two best skilled players, period. So you got to have that explosion and that versatility on the field.
And two of the best playmakers in the country, frankly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's no question about that. If Blake Corum doesn't get hurt, you're probably looking at a guy that rushes for 1,700 yards last year. If Donovan Edwards wasn't hurt for a bit, Michigan would have had 2 1,000-yard rushers. He missed that mark by 9 yards. So, just you cross your fingers for good health because I think that's going to give Michigan some options in terms of what this backfield rotation looks like, and it's going to make it's going to maximize the potential of what they can be.